Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, if you haven't heard, I don't know, maybe you were living under Giant Soldier of Stone's big rock foot, but yeah, a ban list happened, and instead of just doing my live reactions, which is sometimes hard to do nowadays, with Konami just dropping the ban list whenever they feel like it, usually on a Monday or Friday, but then there's been times they drop it at random times as well, I decided to talk about my thoughts on the cards that have been affected, how they'll affect those decks, and how it will affect the meta overall, which I think is more impactful than just doing a reaction video of going, everybody does it, right? So let's get started here with the band section, because there were some interesting bands to some extent. One that I think everybody saw a mile away is Guard Dragon LP. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. Legitly, I think no one, if you've been playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh at all, did not see this coming in some extent. There were some people that I know thought it may dodge. Maybe Konami would do what they've done in the past, where they hit the wrong card and LP lives. Konami's gotten better with that over time to some degree, so I'm not in that frame of mind as much as I used to maybe 5 years ago. They've gotten a lot better about hitting the correct cards and being more methodical about it, not just dancing around the issue sometimes. Not always, but they've gotten better. So hitting LP hurts, Dragon Link a little bit. And, there's other cards that got hit too to stop that. But overall, I feel like, and from what I've seen playtesting wise, Dragon Link is still a thing. Is it as powerful as it was prior? No, I don't think so. Is it still going to be around in some capacity? I believe so. Things of that nature. So I still believe you're going to see Dragon Link around, but it's going to be... I don't know how powerful it's going to be overall. I think it's still going to be played, though. Next, we have Zoodiac Drident hit. Years ago, I hated Zoodiac. I did not like Zoodiac. It was a deck I didn't like. And then we got Tri-Brigade, and I was like, oh, cool. Tri-Brigade Zoo is kind of fun. And, I played the deck actually in real life. I actually have the deck. I never profiled it because it was one of my main decks I played. But it was a fun deck to play overall. I think it's a great thing. People would throw in the Lyra risks, and that's something you can do. And I had hoped they weren't going to hit Dryden again, but they did. They hit it, they banned it, and pretty much the Tri-Brigade engine is going to go back to probably using the Lyra Lusk engine. Granted, we're kind of on hiatus right now because they pushed back the new Lyra Lusk support till January of next year, so I don't know what to think about that. Tri-Brigade's a fun engine to play around with different things. Some decks I like it in, some decks I don't. Tri-Brigade Harpies is okay, but it feels like more of a Tri-Brigade deck than Harpies. Zoodiac, it felt fun to play with. Lyra Lusk, it's fun to play with, but we're just going to have to see how that's going to develop. That deck is on hiatus for me right now, even though I have the new super rares and everything that I got from a buddy for cheap. But I hopefully, my hope is one day, maybe 2 years from now plus, Drident comes back to 1. I don't know, because right now it's still a good engine, but it's not a great engine because now your deck really is not good. We would go Drident, and even Pure Zoo gets hurt by this because prior to when Drident came back, you at least could go first and have Drident, and you could end on a decent board. Now the deck is good, still has a good engine, but it doesn't have a good turn 1 play. So I don't know. Next limited. We have, on the limited section, I'm just looking over my notes here, we have Miscellaneousaurus. Dinos were... dinos are dinos. They're one of those decks that's resilient. They're always going to be around, I feel like, for the foreseeable future in some rogue capacity. And granted, I don't recall them really topping anything as of recently, to my recollection. Granted, I haven't been keeping track of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! As much with COVID going on that I was prior to COVID, but, Crush Card, shh. Prior to Crush Card, I wasn't really keeping track of it, per se. Saying that, I think Missy to 1 balances the deck out to some degree. You have the one Missy, you have the one Miscellaneousaurus to protect your stuff. That's cool. I could see Miscellaneousaurus maybe one day going back to 2 of, maybe in 2-3 years. Yu-Gi-Oh! Changes. Konami may bring it back. You never know. Next we have Striker Dragon to 1. This makes me sad about my Rocket deck. But, you know what? It needed to get hit. So I'm not going to complain too much and cry me a river like Justin Timberlake. But, yeah. Part of me is like, ugh. The other part's like, yes. And that part outweighs the sad part. So that's perfectly fine because, that's pretty good to see. Next we have Salamangreat. I can never pronounce this Salamangreat properly. Maljusteria, the one that came in the structure deck. That was really good. This card was forbidden. I actually, believe it or not, because I haven't played with Salad in so long, I forgot this card was forbidden. I'm being honest. I honestly forgot because it had been so long since I played Salad. But I played at like a regionals with the buddies when the structure decks first came out. I haven't touched it since, so I'm just being honest with you. I was in the process of rebuilding it because I really liked the fact that they were starting to hollow out everything. And I have everything hollow, so I got the deck and this card comes back. Yay! But yeah, from my understanding and from talking to buddies who are more versed with the Salamangreat archetype, this is going to help the deck out a ton. It's probably not going to be meta, but it'll probably be a decent, good tier 2 deck. Next we have, and this is what made the list for me, Sky Striker Engage back to 1 of. And I'm going to talk about this for a moment because I think the community seems to be somewhat divided on Engage, on should it have come back, shouldn't it not have come back. And I'm going to go back and do a little bit of history here for you guys from my memory bank because, I had my birthday last month. I'm getting up in age. Maybe I'm turning senile at a young age. But to my recollection a few years ago, when Engage got hit to 1, people thought it was too harsh of a hit. Now, granted, we have Widow Anchor back. Now we have all these other things back. Yes, I agree. But I distinctively remember that. And I even said, I think in a video back then, I think it'll come back to 1 or 2 of eventually. Kind of like Gateway of the Six Samurai. Looky here, here we are. I'm being honest. And I will admit, though, straight up, I am biased towards the deck. This is a deck that I took to a couple YCSs, actually. I played this deck a lot. This was probably, next to Salad, the last real competitive deck I played. And it was probably one I played for a long time, actually, up until probably, I forget, a while. Like, I even have it, like, even after the ban list happened, I started picking up all the ultimate rare extra deck ones, which I have. So, expect, actually, a Sky Striker Engage deck profile, because, believe it or not, I'm a Striker boy. I love Sky Strikers. I love the way they played. I love their mechanic. I love the way they've always worked. And I've just liked it. It plays to my playing style. And the fact that I just like the archetype in general was awesome on top of all that. So playing style plus archetype, I like it just for its artistic and just how it plays. I mean, yeah, it's actually in my top 10 favorite decks of all time probably for those reasons. But even saying that, I think it's fine. I think Striker is going to be a rogue tier 2 deck. I feel like give it a couple more years, you're going to see Engage probably go back to 2 of if it doesn't do anything. A couple years later, you'll see it at 3 of. Mark my words. I do agree with people who say DD Crow wrecks this deck because you DD Crow Engage and you cry hard because your deck is you can't recycle Engage. But besides that, it's good to see it back because now the deck is back to being playable, which is good. And that's a deck that, it's kind of like when Gateway got hit with 6 Sams. And I'm comparing the two because they're very similar their power card got hit. And it didn't just get hit, it got banned. And when it came back, the deck started to be able to do some more stuff. Not saying that Striker's going to be broken, not saying it's going to be tier 1. I think it's going to be Rogue tier 2. I think there's a lot of Striker guys out there just like this deck in general, and I'm one of them. Have the playmat, everything by Amanda LaPalm and everything. I love the deck. Like, it's the last. It was pretty much, as I said to a buddy when I picked up that deck, and I picked up Engages for $70 a pop, like, and I played them for 2 years almost. I said this is probably going to be the last competitive deck I ever play, and so it has a special place in my heart for that reason. The last couple things I want to mention to you guys, which is kind of, I think, very important, and I do plan to do some updates eventually on this, because I feel like it's really good to see that Konami's making these moves on bringing these cards back, is bringing back Skullcrobat Joker and Double Irish Magician to 2 of. Now, the reason I didn't mention Skullcrobat Joker out there for all my Pendulum fans, I want to include these 2 as one, because this is really good. Now, I know people are wondering, where is, it's been so long since I played it, I forgot what that card is called. Electromite, thank you. Electromite, where is it? I think Konami's a little, I think MCorp 40 mentioned this, as some other people have too, and I agree. I think Konami's a little hesitant to bring that card back because of how much it just made Pendulums be powerful. I know, there's been other Yugi tubers out there who have discussed this, and I'm kind of in agreement. Konami, I feel like as a whole, even Konami OCG, is hesitant to touch Pendulums right now, because and I've discussed this before, how they kind of, if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh's progression of power creep over time, you go from Exceeds, which is 2 cards to make 1 most of the time, to I'm going to spam my field with a bunch of monsters. And I think, and then we went to Links. You saw we kind of reverted backwards. I mean, Links are powerful, yes, but they take more resources than a Pendulum summon, to some degree. Granted, Konami's had to do a lot more curbing of Pendulums than any other archetype, really, besides when they were trying to promote Links, right? Like, think about it. How much things have they done just because Pendulums? And how much they've had to change the game, curb them what they can do. And Links, they didn't do that too much. They just made Links less restrictive. That's simple. They didn't change the board. Exceeds, they didn't touch anything really. Synchros, they didn't touch anything really. Fusions, they redefined the mechanics of those maybe, but that's about all, right? They didn't fundamentally, Pendulums just feel like a power step up, like baby step, up the stairs, woof, goes up in power. That's how it always felt to me. And then Konami went back down. And I think that's why, what I'm trying to say here for the last 30 seconds to a minute, they're afraid of touching Electromite. However, it's good to see that they're trying to give at least some support back in the form of Double Irish Magician and Skullcrobat Joker back to 1 of, to at least test the waters. Because Joker, if you guys don't remember, has been unlimited and then was banned again. It's gone back and forth, I believe, to my recollection, a few times, actually. I think 1 or 2 times. So to see it back gives me hope that Pendulum players out there, and just me who wants to play around with some Pendulum decks, at least we have more to play with than just Gate 0 dot deck. We at least can play some other things. Odd Eyes becomes a little bit more viable, so expect an Odd Eyes update probably in a month or so after I do some replay testing. But saying all these things, I'm excited for this list. I like this list. I'm excited for it. I think it was a very good list. The things that need to be get hit got hit. I know there are people out there that feel that they didn't hit everything, and I think this changes up the list enough. We're probably going to have this list probably till October, I got a feeling, or the end of, early October, mid-October. And we'll see what happens then, but this changes up the formula. Dryatons are still a thing. I do expect that once, probably the next list, you're going to see maybe some Dryatons get hit. I know there were some more casual players who were talking to me about, oh my gosh, they didn't hit, the Red Eyes Fusion, they didn't, Red Eyes Dark Magician Fusion, they didn't hit this, they didn't hit, Red Eyes Fusion, Predaplate Verte Anaconda, and I'm just like, I'm okay with that. Like, that's okay. I can live with those things being around in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they're hitting the other things that are important. And to believe it or not, that card, those cards there make those fun decks more viable. And the way Konami's hit Dragon Link, yeah, they'll still be around, but they're not going to be as powerful. So I think it's going to be this compared to the last list makes Yu-Gi-Oh more fun and enjoyable for the summer and early fall, I believe. So have fun with it. Expect some awesome deck profiles. I want to let you guys know of some upcoming deck profiles if you're watching this video. Expect Gravekeeper's 6 Samurai Blue Eyes Fusion to be coming out in the next week or so. Those are decks I'm already working on. If you are wondering, tomorrow we will be doing a opening. These just came today, actually, when I got home. We'll be doing openings of the Egyptian God structure decks because I finally got my hands on them. And we'll be seeing Egyptian God deck profiles in the very, very near future, most likely by, in July. So expect those things to be coming out shortly, guys. And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. Tell me your thoughts down below about the ban list that just happened and your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you. Take care, everybody.